We're grateful for each and every one of you. Let us know where in the world you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let's begin. I don't believe in accidents anymore. Not after what I saw that night. Not after the moment I reached into the laundry basket to fold her sweater and something cold, plastic, and damning slid out of the pocket. A hotel key card. Room 217. She said she'd gone to her friend's art exhibit. Said she was tired. Said she needed space to clear her mind. But hotel keys don't lie. And neither did the faint scent of unfamiliar cologne on her jacket. A sharp, citrusy kind of musk. Not mine. Never mine. Her name was Jennifer back then. And mine? Trevor. Trevor Langford. I was 56. Married for 32 years. We'd met in college. She was all wine-stained lips and poetry. I was quiet, a numbers guy, still learning how to live out loud. She taught me. Or maybe she just painted over me until I looked more like the man she wanted. I built everything for us. The house, the life, the long-earned vacations. I let my dreams dim so hers could shine brighter. And for a while, I thought it was enough. Until she started staying out late. Started laughing at texts she wouldn't show me. Started talking to our daughter Kaylee in whispers behind closed doors. I thought maybe she was planning a surprise. I was right. Just not the kind I'd ever imagined. That key card told me more than her lips ever would. I didn't ask her about it. Not right away. I couldn't. I was shaking too much. My chest was tight. My hands kept clenching like they wanted to punch something. Or someone. Instead, I played it cool. Made her coffee the next morning. Kissed her cheek. Told her she looked beautiful. Which, infuriatingly, she did. She smiled back, soft, radiant, unaware of the war raging behind my eyes. I was calm. Too calm. That's how you know when a man's heart is breaking. He gets quiet. Focused. That day, I called a friend of mine who worked at the very hotel listed on the card. Hey, I said, forcing a chuckle. I think my niece lost her key card to a room she stayed in with her boyfriend. Room 217. Could you check if she checked in this week? There was a pause. Then he said it. Yeah, Jennifer Langford. Checked in Monday night. One guest. Checked out Tuesday morning. One guest. But 2 people were in that room. I didn't go home that night. I sat in my car with the engine off for hours, staring at my steering wheel, breathing through every betrayal. I thought about every time she kissed me and meant nothing by it. Every lie she told with those soft brown eyes. And worst of all, I thought about how Kaylee had lied to me too. She'd told me that night her mom was just exhausted and needed some time alone. I remembered the hesitation in her voice, the way she didn't meet my eyes. She knew. They both knew. And that's when something in me changed. Something snapped. Not violently. Not like a firework or a scream. It was quieter than that. Colder. A slow, calm death of hope. She wasn't just cheating. She was planning to leave. And I wasn't going to beg her to stay. I was going to make her regret ever thinking she could betray me and walk away clean. I didn't confront her that night. Confrontation gives closure. Closure is a gift. And Jennifer Langford didn't deserve gifts anymore. Instead, I turned quiet. Watched her. Studied every move. When she left the house, I took photos of the license plate she parked next to. Tracked which days she left without makeup and came back glowing. I started keeping a record. Times. Dates. Subtle changes in behavior. She didn't notice. She thought I was distracted. That my silence was softness. But I was already gone. The last thread broke when I found the second phone. It was tucked inside her makeup drawer, hidden under a bundle of expired blush compacts. It was a burner, no passcode. That was her mistake. What I saw on that screen flipped a switch in me I didn't know I had. Texts. Long, intimate threads between her and someone named Jay. Only he wasn't just Jay. He was Jason Holt, a younger man, maybe early 40s. Divorcee. Real estate broker. No kids. No wife. Just gym selfies and smooth messages that read like snake oil poetry. Last night was magic. I still smell your hair on my shirt. Wish I could wake up next to you every day. Let me take you away. Just for a weekend. No secrets. Just us. The photo he sent, him shirtless, holding a glass of wine, burned itself into my brain. It was dated 2 days ago. The same night she'd said she was with Kaylee, having dinner. That confirmed it. They weren't being discreet anymore. They were being bold, arrogant, stupid. So I started my own performance. I told her I was planning to retire early. Told her I'd been thinking about selling the business. She smiled too wide, hugged me tighter. It was the first real emotion I'd seen from her in months. I almost laughed in her ear. She thought she was going to walk away with half. Not a chance. Meanwhile, I took Kaylee out for dinner. We hadn't spoken in days, and I wanted to see if her guilt would show. Your mom's been busy lately, I said, watching her fork tremble midair. Yeah, she muttered. She's been doing a lot of gallery stuff. I sipped my water. Funny. I thought the exhibit ended last month. She went pale. I leaned forward, lowered my voice. You're lying to me, Kaylee. She froze. Dad, how long have you known? Silence. Her voice cracked. A few weeks. Did you help them? I didn't help. She said she felt so lost and... I held up a hand. That hurt more than anything. It wasn't just betrayal from a spouse. It was betrayal from blood. From the child I raised. She tried to explain. She thought you didn't see her anymore. That you were always buried in your work. She said she didn't feel wanted. I let out a soft, bitter laugh. I built a life for her. A life she could paint in. A home. A name. And this is what I get. I'm sorry, Dad. No, you're not. Her eyes widened. You're sorry you got caught in the middle. Not for what you did. I tossed money on the table and stood. Don't come to the house for a while. I need space. Please. Go back to your husband, Kaylee. Go be the woman you watched your mother become. See how that ends for you. Back at the house, I started taking steps. Legal ones. Financial ones. Emotional ones. I met with a divorce attorney under a false name. Liquidated a few accounts. Cashed in stocks Jennifer didn't know I still owned. I even changed the deed to our house. It had always been in my name. But now it was protected. By the time she'd realized what I was doing, I'd be long gone. But I didn't stop there. I hired someone. A private investigator named Carson Ridge. He didn't ask questions. Just took photos. And on a rainy Thursday, Carson handed me a manila envelope filled with grainy snapshots that made my heart beat like a war drum. Jennifer, lipstick smudged, wrapped around Jason Holt in the back seat of a black Lexus. Laughing, breathless, alive. I stared at the final photo for a long time. Then I whispered, to no one in particular, enjoy it while it lasts. Because her fantasy was about to become a nightmare. It took Jennifer exactly 12 seconds to realize something was wrong. She came home late Friday night. Same as always. Hair too perfect, smile too soft, pretending she'd just come from dinner with Kaylee. But when she stepped through the door, the house was different. Her shoes clicked across an empty floor. The photos were gone. The bookshelves bare. The drawers cleaned out. Our wedding portrait, the framed anniversary letters, the silly post-it notes she'd saved on the fridge, all missing. She called out my name once, twice. No answer, only silence and echo. Then she saw it, a white envelope on the kitchen counter, her name written in the same sharp handwriting I'd used for every love letter over the years. But this one wasn't love. This one was a warning. She tore it open. Inside, a single note. You threw 30 years away for a man who doesn't even love you. Now watch how fast I erase you back. I was already gone, 2 states away, sitting in a cheap motel with a burner phone and a flash drive full of evidence. The investigator had dug deep. Jason Holt was everything I expected. Recently divorced, multiple women, financial trouble, fake charm. A man who didn't love my wife, just used her to feed whatever hole his ego couldn't fill. And she fell for it, like a teenager. But this wasn't high school. This was real life. And I wasn't going to let her walk away without consequences. The first hit was financial. I called my lawyer that morning, told him to file immediately. No alimony, no property rights. She'd cheated, and I had proof. The second hit came by way of exposure. Remember that art gallery she loved? The one where she just started selling pieces again? I sent them a curated folder of security footage, screenshots of text between her and Jason, and a polite note. Perhaps this isn't the kind of artist you want representing your brand. She was removed from the roster within 24 hours. But I wasn't done. Jennifer hadn't just betrayed me. She'd made our daughter part of the betrayal. So I hit Kaylee where it hurt. Her husband, Mason, was a clean-cut guy. Conservative. Trusting. He loved Kaylee. Respected her. But he didn't know the role she played in all of this. So I told him. Sat across from him at a quiet diner. Handed him the same flash drive I'd given my lawyer. Watch in private, I said. Then ask her how long she's been helping her mother cheat on her father. He didn't say a word. just stared at the drive like it was a live grenade. I walked out without waiting for thanks. This wasn't about gratitude. It was about justice. 3 days later, Jennifer finally found me. She showed up in the motel parking lot, eyes wide, face pale, hands trembling. "Trevor," she gasped, "please don't do this." I didn't let her come closer. I stood my ground. "You want to beg now?" I asked. "Now that your life is caving in?" Her voice cracked. "It was one mistake." "One mistake," I snapped. "It was an affair. With my daughter's help. And you let it go on like I was too stupid to notice." Tears slid down her cheeks. "I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did. And you dragged our daughter into it like loyalty meant nothing. So no, Jennifer, I don't forgive you. And I'm not coming home." She reached out. I stepped back. "You already chose him," I said coldly. "Now go build a future with a man who sees you as a temporary thrill." I hope it was worth 32 years. I turned, walked away, and didn't look back. Let her cry in the rain. I had cried enough for both of us. Jason Holt liked to think he was untouchable. Smooth talker, lean build, tan skin, flashy smile. He walked like a man who believed every room belonged to him. Like every woman was just another check mark on a list he never had to explain. But predators forget. Sometimes, the man watching in silence is more dangerous than the one who brags. It took me 2 weeks to find his weakness. Jason had a pattern. Tuesday nights, always at CrossFit. Friday nights, always at the jazz lounge downtown, alone or with someone new. His biggest vulnerability, though, he thought I was just a broken husband licking his wounds. He didn't know who he'd messed with. So I waited. Not for him, but for the moment he was comfortable again. I let things settle. Let Jennifer think maybe I calmed down. Let Kaylee believe the silence was forgiveness. I became a ghost in their lives, the one they try to forget as they played house with their secrets. Then one cold night in November, Jason stepped out of his gym, towel over his shoulder, earbuds in, heading to his car like always. That's when I struck. No words, no warning, just steel. A pipe to the leg first. I heard the bone crack before he even screamed, then to the ribs, and the jaw. One clean hit across his cheek shattered part of his face. He dropped like a broken statue, coughing blood, mumbling something I didn't bother to listen to. I leaned in, breathing hard. "You wrecked my family," I whispered, voice calm. "You thought I'd just fade away. But let this remind you. Another hit. To never touch what isn't yours." When I left, his phone was still buzzing in his jacket, Jennifer's name flashing on the screen. I didn't answer it. I let it ring. Let her hear the sirens from a distance. Let her wonder what had happened. By the time police came, I was already out of state. No prints. No footage. No witnesses. No trace. I'd booked a one-way flight to Belize using a fake ID I'd paid a hacker to build. I had cash. I had time. And more importantly, I had peace. Meanwhile, Jason's injuries made headlines in local papers. Prominent real estate broker viciously attacked outside gym. His jaw was wired shut for 8 weeks. His knee needed pins. Plastic surgery couldn't fix all of it. He stopped smiling in photos after that. As for Jennifer, her world unraveled in slow motion. She was fired from the gallery. Kaylee's marriage imploded. Mason left after confronting her with the truth, told her she'd betrayed every value they stood for. Jennifer's friends, the ones who once praised her new glow and asked about her mystery man, slowly disappeared. Nobody wants to be around the woman who broke her husband and lost her daughter. She moved into a tiny apartment near the train tracks. She tried to keep painting, but the spark was gone. The colors dried up. She still called me every month. Left voicemails, emails, tried to send letters. I never answered. Because forgiveness isn't owed, especially when the betrayal was premeditated, coordinated, and wrapped in smiles. Kaylee reached out once more. 1 year later, she wrote, "Dad, I know you hate me. I know I deserve it. But I had a baby. Her name's Riley. I just wanted you to know your grandfather. I won't contact you again unless you want me to. I'm sorry." I stared at that message for hours. Not because I didn't care, but because I cared too much. They made me the villain when I spent decades being the foundation. And when that foundation cracked, they expected me to just rebuild. But I wasn't a builder anymore. I was fire. It's strange how peace feels like silence. Not just around you, within you. A hollow sort of calm. Like walking through a burned-down house after the flames are gone. Everything's quiet. Nothing moves. But you remember every creak, every picture on the wall, every echo that used to fill the space. That's what life became for me. I stayed in Belize at first, then Columbia, then quietly slipped into a coastal town in Oregon under a new name, Tyler Green. I grew out a beard, bought a small cottage with cash, took up woodworking. I didn't talk much. People left me alone, and I liked it that way. Sometimes I'd stare at the ocean and try to remember what her laugh used to sound like, before it was hollow, before it was meant for someone else. I'd think about Kaylee, about bedtime stories and first dances and college move-ins, about how she looked when she was 5 and thought I could do anything. I couldn't fix what they broke, but I could stop letting it destroy me. One evening, a knock came at my door. I knew before I opened it. Jennifer. Older now. Thinner. Worn. Her eyes met mine, not with rage, not with pride, but with regret. "I found you," she whispered, voice barely audible. I didn't move, didn't smile. "You weren't supposed to," I said. "I know," she said. I had to see you. One last time." Silence stretched between us. The waves whispered behind her. "I lost everything," she said. "I know you don't care, but I did. I lost my gallery, my friends. Kaylee barely speaks to me. Mason divorced her. Jason moved away after what happened. He's not the same. Neither am I." I leaned against the doorframe. "You came all this way to tell me you're broken?" I asked. "You think I didn't already know that?" "No," she said, wiping her cheek. "I came to say I'm sorry. Not because I think it fixes anything, but because I needed you to know it wasn't about him. It was about me. I felt invisible, like a shadow in my own life." I nodded slowly. "Then you should have asked for help," I said, "not walked into someone else's arms." She looked down. "I know." We stood in silence. Then I asked the question I never thought I would. "Do you ever miss us?" Her voice trembled. "Every single day." I swallowed hard. "Good." Then I closed the door and locked it. 2 years passed. The calls stopped. The letters faded. Kaylee sent one final photo. A little girl, red curls, holding a wooden toy plane. No caption, just a picture. My hand hovered over the delete button, but I saved it. Not because I was ready, but because that little girl had nothing to do with the sins of the ones before her. Maybe one day, I'd reach out. Maybe I wouldn't. But I knew this much. I wasn't the man who was betrayed anymore. I was the man who survived it. And some nights, when the waves crashed just right, and the stars blinked above that quiet coastal sky, I'd sit with a glass of bourbon and whisper to no one. I still loved her, right up until the moment she made me stop.